Hey everyone, I'm Rachel,
And I'm Jen, and welcome to Devilish Bookworms, the podcast.
where we read and review books and release episodes every Tuesday.
This week we have Bonded Nightmare by E.M. Rinaldi.
Yay! Eryn Montalli and her parents are the last of the nightmares, one of the factions of the supernatural world. When their entire species is all but eradicated, they go into hiding, changing their identities and refraining from using even the smallest bit of their magic. When Erin's bond is found, a relationship deeper than soulmates, she is forced out of hiding and headfirst into the world she has been terrified of her entire life.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this week, the book that we did, Bonded Nightmare, did not actually have a trigger warning content list, but our fantastic Rachel put one together. It's brief, but it's something. Uh,
Put one together. All both of them.
all both of them. So yes,
All both of them.
the trigger warnings for this week would be fictional animal death and adult content. So keep that in mind when you read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That was really all that I could tell. Anywho, so the cover of this book is a picture of the main character. It's a cartoon of Eryn. And I know I'm skipping ahead to like the author's socials, but she has a post on her Instagram and it's a picture of a woman who literally looks exactly like the picture on the front of the book and exactly like I pictured her in my head.
Ooh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
The way that she did it, I was able to like, especially from that cover, I was able to immediately picture who Erin was, and I think she described her perfectly to what translated on the cover, you know?
Yeah. And I'm a sucker for the wispy, like, there's like flowers, and one, I love the fact that she has curly hair, but um, it looks very, it kind of looks fairy almost, but it's not.
It is really gorgeous. I do love the cover. So good job on that one.
Yeah. So, did you check out the dedication on this book?
I did actually, because of the fact that I did it last week, I made sure to make a point to go back to it this week. So
Mm-hmm.
it says, to the readers who know that sometimes romance is the plot. And facts, sometimes it just is.
I think that she also did add like a decent storyline too. Like it was it you did I didn't get bored. The relationship and the romance was the focal point, but there was no time where I was just like, oh, is this all there is?
Yeah. No, the underplot was definitely, or secondary plot,
Subplot?
subplot. Oh, it's been a long week and it just started. Uh, no, but I think I enjoyed the fact that she was able to create a subplot without being too far gone. Like, yeah, you want the romance part to be the focal point and absolutely understand that. But it's not always enough to keep you, like you said, kind of like focused on the entire book. But the way she stitched it in and brought the supernatural aspect into it, as well as like focusing on her becoming someone and building her character, but also building the relationship, was just beautifully done.
Yeah. And the FMC, Aaron does go on a big journey of like self-discovery. And I feel like normally I would not have read a story like this based solely on the fact that I don't normally do college romances. I'm not a big college person. Not in theory. I mean, college is great in theory. I mean, I mean, reading books, like I almost didn't even read The Ritual because of it, and I'm so glad that I did. But
You're welcome.
so um I there was college in it, but not it wasn't overwhelmingly so. Um but it was cool to see like that storyline was also not abandoned.
Yeah, which it was really great that she was able to keep all of that tied in and still give us a good story.
Yeah. I actually I kind of really liked Eryn as the FMC too. Um I think I could read another like 6 books of her flavor of main character. She was like 100% always rejecting what's good for her. Even when everyone else around her was like, you know, XYZ, right? And she was like, no, 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 no. That's not what I'm gonna do.
But at the same time, I have to say it, she at least had one good, solid foundation. No matter what was going on, her best friend that she found while she was in school got her to do what she needed to, and also got her to kind of push her to do the right thing for herself. After all the time she's tried to like sit there and go, no, 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 at least her best friend was there to kind of like actually put her on the right track and force her to do the things that she needed to do.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have a best friend like that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right. So in this book, in Bonded Nightmare, essentially the premise is that she and her family are, you know, the last of this line, and she finds out that her bond, which the bond is, it's kind of like it's more than a soulmate. It's literally like the other half of you, like more than a twin flame, more than it's it's so crazy. And like once you know, like accept the bond and like whatever, you are always tethered to that person by like a string in your chest, or like a it's like a well they call it like a thread, don't they?
I believe so.
I don't know, it was really I thought it was really cool how she dove into the thread situation, like the bond situation of like you can tell if the person that you love, or I mean you can tell if your bond is like alive through it, or what they're feeling through it, or um you know, and they could still shut it off too. So if they didn't want you to feel what they were feeling at that time, they'd just be like they just close their side of the bond.
Which I thought was actually really good, especially when it came to like the parts of it where you felt their pain, even though it wasn't your pain. Like there was a phantom pain on you, which depending on the severity of the pain, depended on the severity of your pain, which
Mm-hmm.
freaking bravo with that. But also the fact that even if the person is unconscious, they were still able to, feel that there was a flutter in the chest, or if you were trying to find them, you would follow that flutter. And it was just really cute.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if you could not turn it off and it was literally just constant 24/7? Like you had just a uninhibited access to like what the person was like thinking, feeling. That would be so awful.
I can barely deal with my own emotions, never mind having somebody else's emotions inside of my own brain and heart. Like, that would be a
Yeah.
literal nightmare.
Yeah. Especially if you guys are in a fight, and like what if you're bonded is the kind of person who like says things like really bad when they're mean or when they're mad, you know? And then it's
Yeah.
like they say the worst things.
Well, in fairness, I don't think those are
Anywho,
the kind of the bonded people.
I'm sorry, is that my relationship trauma peeking through the podcast?
Maybe
I'm like,
just,
what if they just can't hold back the awful things that they're saying about you?
ugh, well, essentially that person would love you and wouldn't say those type of things. Even though our FMC did say some really hurtful shit. Ugh,
I
doesn't mean
loved her.
anything. Ugh. I'm not
Yo,
gonna
for
lie.
real.
I liked her, but at the same time, like sometimes I wanted to pop her through the freaking book.
Yeah, I loved them both.
Sorry, just to go back to the bond thing. Uh, the one bit about the bond that I absolutely loved that she wrote is she said that when you find your bond, it was like finding a piece of yourself that you didn't even know was missing. I like to think that everybody might have a bond out there or a soulmate or whatever, however you would like to preface that. But at the same time, I just loved how she made it like the your basically entire being is finding another entire being. But to be able to find that one person that's like literally out there that's completely going to complete your entire life. Like I feel like I found my soulmate when I found Rachel.
It's me. It's me, Jessica. Go ahead, just tell everyone how much you love me.
No, when I found her, it was just like everything else was perfect. So, I mean, take that as you will. Too bad she's not a man. No, I'm kidding.
I tell myself that all the time. But yeah, I mean, it does bring an
Yeah.
interesting element of like, of knowing, right? Like there's a difference between knowing and believing. And so like you can believe that there are soulmates or that there is someone for everyone or whatever the case may be, but in this world it's like no, it's for real. It's really a thing.
Yeah. To not have to guess either. That's the fucking kicker. Like here in
Yeah.
the real world, you gotta guess who might be your other half, and you might make mistakes along the way. But to just know, oh, wouldn't that be fucking grand?
Yeah, that would be grand.
So that best friend of hers, what did you think of her?
She was fine. I don't have any opinions of her one way or another.
The only reason I ask is because of the fact I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but there's going to be a book on her.
Oh yeah, the second one. What is it?
Uh-huh.
Bonded Siren or something? Or Siren's Bond?
Siren Bond or something along that line. I actually saw something on Threads where she was Rinaldi was talking about finishing up a chapter and I was like, is this for Siren Bonded? And she's like, yes. I'm like, oh, I'm excited.
Oh, there's one thing that I have got to say before I forget. So there's an element in this book. I I am absolutely like obsessed with scenes where characters like scream and unleash magic. There's something about a complete loss of control where it's like so intense that the only way they can let it out is to scream so hard that the magic can't be contained. And my favorite
Oh,
example of this, I've said it before, is Wanda Maximoff when Vision is killed. And she like
uh,
screams a whole world into existence. And there is a scene, I'm not going to say who it was or what was going on or anything like that, but there was a scene in this book. I read that page like 3 times because I was just so in love with it.
I got chills when it happened. I was like,
I got
oh.
chills. They're multiplying.
Oh. Well, it was just that it was that well done. Like I will give her like so much applause for that scene because it was so good.
Yeah, I just
I
love that. I want to read all of the books where they have that or see movies where they have that element.
Yeah,
It's just head back screaming. Ooh.
you felt their pain through the page. That was
Mm,
that. Yeah, no,
yeah. I'm a big sucker for like loss of control anyway,
yeah,
but
you are.
man. Man. Which actually brings me to my question of who is your favorite character?
Okay. Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this, but I'm still not prepared for this answer, except that I will say I don't care how much you didn't have an opinion about her. The best friend was one of mine
Yeah.
because, listen, there's something about a person accepting everything about you, regardless of how fucked up you are. But when this bitch said, hold on, I gotta find it. She was talking to her about, all the events that have happened. And Ronnie says that she was more upset that her best friend almost died more than once and she never knew about it. And Eryn was like, I'm still your best friend. And she's like, I don't care if your skin turns pink and you have to dance naked under the full moon every month. I just want to know what's going on with you. And my heart winced because there was a of course, Eryn, like me, doesn't believe, her best friend still wants to be her best friend. And she goes, bitch, I dance naked right beside you. Yes, I love that.
You know what's funny is I knew I had a feeling that Ronnie was going to be your favorite character.
Well, I mean, come on. I've got a best friend like that. She's always down to ride
Hmm.
with me and shit. She's always fucking protecting me from a bunch of assholes. Why wouldn't I like her?
I mean, I that's true. That's true.
Exactly.
There were a lot of really good characters. This book is very much like found family and like it's an ensemble, right? Like they Rinaldi makes it a point to be like these people are important to each other. And
Yeah.
it's not even just like, the relationship aspect. It's like, no, this whole group of people would ride or die for each other. Um, so I mean, I totally get why it was difficult, to try and pick one because they're all fantastic.
Yeah. I'm guessing that Ezra's your favorite.
Stop.
Um,
Yes. How did you know?
I knew the second I read his bits that yeah, that is like such a you guy. Like he's yeah. Uh-huh.
I love that one part where he screams out like, what did he said? I don't want to do spoilers, but he was like, she got stabbed too, and then Kai like smacks him in the back of
Oh
the
my
head.
God. Yes. Yeah, that's actually when
I
Ronnie
know.
was finding out everything.
Yeah. Listen,
Uh
I know that like don't hit people and keep your hands to yourself, blah blah blah. I love smacking the back of the head. I think that it's always so funny. It's just a light correction, right? Like you're not bopping them, but just like a slap. It's like, hey, dumbass.
yep. I dish those out every so often.
I love it. I love a slap in the back of the head.
Oh, they are good.
So, yes, Ezra was my favorite character, although I did love them all, and I have a soft spot for Eryn, just pushing away everyone that loves her. Um, what about favorite quotes? Did you have one of those?
Ooh, I think I did actually. I think I only had one. Okay. So I t I technically had two, but I think I think this one is perfectly summed up in all I really need to say. Um, did I take the risk trusting him? By doing so, I'd be going against everything I'd ever known and every painful experience life has ever shoved down my throat. And yeah,
Yeah.
because trusting people sucks and it's hard.
Yep. it's so funny that you say that because I had a few that I highlighted, three that I wrote down, and then one that I would say is like my favorite, and that one is how did I tell him that I was scared of everything, creating a bond that I couldn't escape from, letting down my walls and paying for it later, falling for him and the hope he sparked, then having it all ripped away at the last moment. I was terrified that the future he promised wasn't real.
What was my second one?
that one that one hit in a
Yes.
way that none of the other ones did.
Uh-huh.
I love Eryn for so many reasons, and that was like the biggest one because I could have written that one. Rinaldi, I could have written that. You see into my soul.
So yeah, like I said, that was my second one, and I didn't want to say it because it was like I always go for those type of quotes because it's like, ah, dude, it feels good to be seen, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, stop seeing me, you know?
I know.
Like, ugh. But okay, what are your others?
So one was it just shows how like because this book actually did have a lot of funny parts, and so one says it had only been a few hours since I dropped Eryn off and I wondered what she was doing right now. It's the middle of the night, she's sleeping, you obsessive fuck.
Oh Lord.
And then I think the cutest one in the whole book was would it make you feel better if I still pretended not to know?
No,
And I'm not going to give any context to that.
I loved that part.
I know.
Ugh.
So, final thoughts. I love this book. It was so unapologetically romantic, and she did exactly what she tugged at all of the heartstrings, and I just loved it. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands down, I loved it. I honestly can't wait for Siren Bonded to come out.
Yes, I will be reading that one too.
For fucking sure. My fucking heart. Oh, okay. Enough emotions today.
So, Bonded Nightmare was written by E.M. Rinaldi. Rinaldi is also the author of A Familiar Duology and The Cross Chronicles, both of which I believe are about magic and witches. I know that A Familiar Duology had something to do with demonology. You can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at e.m.rinaldi, Rinaldi. She's also working on the sequel to Bonded Nightmare, of course, as you know, is called Siren Bonded. So keep your eyes out for that one too. And Jen, what are we reading next week?
So next week we are reading What Souls Are Made Of by Tasha Suri.
Yay! So
Yes.
this is another one of the books, actually. It's a different author, but it's in the same collection as My Dear Henry, which is it's a retelling of Wuthering Heights, or a remix, excuse me, of Wuthering Heights.
So I actually got so confused because when I downloaded it, it immediately went in with uh my dear or my dear Henry. Yeah. And I was like, wait, where did the book go? Like, what happened? I didn't realize that it was part of the same collection. And yeah, I'm excited.
I kind of want to read Most Ardently too, which is about Darcy and his best friend.
Stop
I
it.
know
Why didn't you say that one before?
because
Ugh.
I know it's like frowned upon these days, but Wuthering Heights owns my soul.
Yeah, I can understand. Well, I guess
Well,
you'll have to wait till next week to find out how that book is.
yeah. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Devilish Bookworms.
If you want to chat with us, be sure to check us out on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
You can also find our podcast on YouTube and wherever else you listen to podcasts.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.